So let's get started with solving these questions. All right? Hold on. Okay. So basically, let's start with problem 9. As we were covering before, we were doing percents, right? So now let's apply that. Let's do the problems. All right? So we're solving this question. Is 64 is 25% of what number? Jesus. Oh, sorry about that. Anyways, 64 is 25% of what number? So basically, 1/4 times 64. The 25% is 1/4. 25% is 1/4 times 64 is 16. But that's when you read the question wrong, though. Like right now, I just read the question wrong. So basically, what we have to do is notice that it says 64 is 25% of what number? So let's say it's x times 25% is equal to 64. Now we know that 25% is 1/4, so we just need to multiply by 4 by both sides to get rid of the 1/4 and get x is equal to 256. All right. Problem 10 is a similar, really similar. I'll let you guys have a try on this. It should be easy. So I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me answers to chat. So basically the answer is 400,000. Alright, get started. It's 0.3% off what number? Say that's X. Remember, a percent means out of 100. It's important. 3/2 out of 100, which is you could do, sorry if it's messy, 3/200, which is also times X. But that's equal to 6,000. Then we multiply the reciprocal of 3/200, which is just 200 divided by 3. And multiply them together, we get 1. Or we multiply 6,000 by 200 divided by 3. This gives you 2. It gives you 200 times 2,000. It gives you 400,000 as the answer. Alright, so let's get started with problem 10. Problem 11. On an achievement status, 9th graders average 93% and 8th graders average 75%. A total of 90 students took the test and averaged 87%. How many 9th graders took the test? Let's just have a try on this question and tell me answers to chat. It might use system of equations in order to solve them. Or you can test out values, but I don't think it's gonna help that much. Let's get started. So basically, how we're supposed to do this question? Well, let X be the number of ninth graders and Y be the number of us eighth graders, and we get divided by 90 is equal to 87. This is the system of equations. I write it down again. And there's a total of 90 students. Solving gives X equals 60. So the answer to this question is X equals 60, or the 69th graders. Let's move on to problem 12. The basketball team played 12 games and won 10 of them. If the basketball team wins 44 and 49% of its remaining 18 games, or 49th of its remaining, this is just equivalent, they're equal. What percent of the game has the team won at the end of the season? I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me answers to chat. Let's get started. So basically, how you're supposed to do this question is the total of 30 games. 18 and a 12 added up is 30 total games. 10 of them or won for the 12 games, and 44 or 49% or 4/9 of the remaining 18 games are won. Meaning that 8 out of 18 games were won. So 8 out of 18 is you could do 4/9. So there's an 8 total games plus 12 total games, but 10 total games. 18 divided by 30 is equal to 3/5. Now, we have 1%, not the fraction. We just want the percent. So make sure you convert it before you like go on assuming the answer, which is just 3/5. You should look at the problem, look at what it's telling us. You want to find the percent, which just means the answer is 60%. And that's your answer. 3/5 is not, it's not, 3/5 is the correct answer, but like, it's not in the notation the question wants you to represent. So you might lose a point because of that. Right? Let's move on to problem 13. During the sale, all items are marked off 40% off. If the sale price of an item was $10.50, what is its original price in dollars? So there's a 60%. If it's 40% off, meaning that its original say its original was 100. Now 40% off of 100 is just minus 40. Gives you 60 left. Or in decimal, you can say, well, that's 1 minus 0.4 times x. X is the original price. X times 1. We can distribute it. To distribute it, use the distributive property. Get x minus 0.4x. We take 40% off. That's the 40% off. And this is the original price. We're taking 40% off the original price, which gives you 0.6x. Meaning that if it's 40% off, then the new price is gonna be 60% of the original. Now it says the sale price of an item is $10.50. Now 0.6x is now equal to $10.50. So the sale price is just after you put on the taxes, the discounts. There's no tax in this case. And we just divide by 0.6. And this gives you x is equal to $17.50. Not $18. So the answer is $17.50. Alright, let's move on to problem 14. The price of an article was marked down 35% during the sale, or meaning that it's a 65% off original. Hold on. 65% off original, and the sale price is $36.40. So 0.65x is equal to $36.40. I'll let you solve this equation and tell me your answers to chat. Okay, so thanks to Young, we got the answer right, and the answer is indeed $56. So the answer for X is $56. You can divide by 0.65. Move the decimal for this one 2 places to the right for the denominator and the numerator. If you learn how to divide decimals, yes, we have to do that. And then we get 3,640 divided by 65, which is equal to 56. Right? Let's move on to problem 15. A refrigerator is offered for sale at $250 plus successive discounts of 20% and 50%. The sale price of the refrigerator is, for the people that may be confused on what the wording is saying to us, it's just saying it's offered for sale for, let's say the original price was $250. We take a 20% discount or 0.8 times the original, and then we take a 0.85 of the original. Why? Because 50% off means 85% of the original, and then 20% off is 80% of the original. Now, it doesn't really matter how you apply these. Like, say for example, I applied the 20% discount and then the 50% discount. That's the same. Based because of the commutative property of multiplication, it's just the same as applying 50% off first and then 20% off. All right? And then when we multiply this all out, we get the answer is basically 68% of 250, if I am right. Or we can just calculate this. I'll calculate it. 0.8 times 0.85 is 0.68 times 250 or 170. So the answer is $170. Alright? Problem 16. An item was placed on sale in January for 30% less than its original price. A final closeout sale was offered in February, and the January sale price was reduced by 40%. What percent of the original price was the final reduced price? I'll let you guys have a try in this question and tell me your answers to chat. Okay, let's get started. This is just 70% off time 70% of the original price times 60% of the original price. This is just 42%. If you multiply all of these together, oops. So the answer is indeed 42%. Alright, let's move on to problem 17. An item is placed on sale for 30% less of 40. Oops, duplicate. Let's just move on to this question. How many dollars would be paid in simple interest if $200 is borrowed at 12% per year for 5 months? I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me answers to the chat. Okay, so the person who has bragging rights is Eric. Okay, so basically, there's $200 and we pretend it's an entire year. Then the interest paid is gonna be 200 times 12%, which is just $24. Now we want to divide by 12 for each month, which is just 2. So $2 each month you will add on. And 2 times 5 is indeed $10. That was the solution. Right, let's move on to problem 19. Two high school classes took the same test. One class of 20 students have an average of 80. Other class of 30 students had an average of 70. What is the average of all students? I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me your answers through chat. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so you just do the multiplication. It's just 20 times 80 plus 30 times 70 divided by a total of 50 students, which is just equal to 74. So it's B. That's all you have to do. All right, problem 20. House and a store give 12,000 each, or sold for 12,000 each. The house was sold for a loss of 20%. The store at a gain of 20%. The entire transaction resulted in. Let's just have a try and discuss it and tell me answers to chat. And private message also. Sorry, guys. The answer is indeed A. My fault. I somehow thought it was 1/20th plus minus 1/20th get 15,000 with 10,000. I forgot that it's not right. So the answer is indeed A. So it's prompt. So it's prompt 20 is A. Sorry. A housewife it saved $2.50 in buying a dress on sale. If he spent $25 on for the dress, she saved about. Let's go have a try on this question and tell me answers. Okay, so the answer is indeed B. So, but please stop sending it to everyone, or so I'll just close everyone, the chat to everyone. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, $25. Uh, so he spent $25. Well, C's the original price, and it's gonna be $27.50 divided by $2.50. That's just 1 in 11, which is approximately 0.909. I'm sorry, it means 0.0909, which is just 9%. Alright, let's move on to problem 22. I will let you guys have a try on this question and tell me answers to chat. Please do private message. Don't just shout it out in the everyone chat. To start with this question. So basically, what we have to do is just solve a system of equations. This is how I normally do it. 90% of 8 is just 4/5 times 9, or just 36/5 plus x divided by 8 plus x. This is the original ratio. I'm gonna add x liters of water, which is just gonna give us 2/5 of the entire alcohol. This is the ratio between alcohol and the total amount of water. Right? Solving will give you the answer as 10. Let's move on to problem 23. This is similar, so I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me your answers to chat. It's extremely similar, actually. Get started. The answer is 30. So basically how it's that started is just make 10 of 20%, which is 2 plus x, same setup. You add x liters of water, so it doesn't. Oops, I'm so sorry. For the last one, I'm so sorry. This should be 36 divided by 5 plus 8 divided by 8 plus x. So sorry, because the water is not saline. So it'd be just 2 divided by 10 plus x is equal to 1 over 20 or 5%. Solving this will give you 30, x equals 30 as your answer. Let's go to problem 24, which is about the same thing. No, a bit of tweaking. Alright? Let's go to try this question and tell me answers to the chat. Let's get started. So basically, how are we supposed to be doing this question is that notice you want 0.5% solutions, okay? So basically, 500 grams of a 20% salt solution, which is just 500 divided by 20% of the salt, which is 500 times 1/5, which is just 100. Plus, this time we have to add 1/20th of x plus x. Because if every time we add x liters of solution, we have 1/20th of it is salt. So we just add that. This fraction should be equal to 15 out of 100 or 3 out of 20. Solving will give you x is equal to 250. So that's our answer. Thank you guys for joining me today on the session. And I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye.